On the night of July 28th, Iran fired a wave of ballistic missiles at American forces in Jordan. Every single one was intercepted. American Central Command called it an attempted surprise attack. No American casualties, no damage. By any military standard, it was a perfect night. The kind of result that ends up as a single line in a briefing. It is also the reason a number of people inside the Pentagon are worried. Of all the ways this war could go badly for the United States, the most expensive one is that its missile defense keeps working. This is a story about arithmetic. And the answer to it is not in Tehran. It is in a smelter in China. Start with what a single interception actually costs. The Patriot PAC-3 doing most of this work runs about $4.2 million a round. The THAAD interceptor, the layer above it, is closer to $12.7 million. Those are the shields. Now look at what they are being fired at. An Iranian Shahed drone costs, on average, around $35,000. It is a lawnmower engine, a warhead, and a wing. Which means a successful interception can run something like 114 to 1 in Iran's favor. Not when the defense fails, when it works. And you do not get to pick the cheap option in the middle of an attack. A crew with seconds to decide does not price compare. They fire what will work. Which is exactly what makes the exchange rate so punishing. Iran does not need to get a missile through. It needs America to keep stopping them. That is a strategy you can lose while winning every single night. If that is the kind of thing you want taken apart properly, that is the whole channel. Subscribing genuinely helps. So how much has America already spent? Combat began on the 28th of February. In the first 16 days, the United States and its allies fired more than 11,000 munitions. That count is from the Royal United Services Institute, which warned THAAD stocks could approach exhaustion within a month. That was March. It is now day 152. The Center for Strategic and International Studies has been tracking the drawdown all year. By the 8th of April, it estimated the American Patriot stockpile was down 55%. By the end of July, 65%. Its estimate of what remains of the highest-end interceptors, as few as 759. THAAD stocks fell by roughly half in the first 6 weeks, then held once the ceasefire took hold. In July, a United States official told the Washington Post, "We do not have enough to safely sustain operations, and I don't think the White House is aware of that." Now, a caveat that matters, and we are not going to skip it. The Pentagon disputes this. It has publicly stated that munitions remain available. And the CSIS numbers are estimates, modeled from Gulf partner data and public budget documents, not official inventory counts. So hold them as a range, not a receipt. But the direction is not really contested. The disagreement is about how far the line has fallen, not which way it points. And there is a second problem hiding inside the first. America is not the only customer for these interceptors. Roughly half of Patriot production goes to allies rather than into American inventories. So this is not only an American stockpile being drawn down, it is a shared, finite pool, and spending it in one place spends it everywhere. This is where most coverage stops. Just buy more. In April, the Pentagon and Lockheed Martin signed a $4.7 billion deal for PAC-3 interceptors. It will not change this war. And the reason is a production line, not a budget. THAAD interceptors are built at a surge rate of about 96 a year. 96. And from the moment a contract is signed, delivery runs about 3.5 years. In May, CSIS concluded that returning Patriot and THAAD inventories to pre-war levels would take 3 or more years from today. 3 years. The war is on day 152. An interceptor is also not a simple object. A seeker, a motor, a guidance section, each with its own supplier and its own queue. A check does not shorten a queue. You cannot manufacture your way out of a fight you are already inside, and even that is not the hard part. Because there is a reason those lines cannot simply be told to run faster. What makes a modern interceptor work is not really the rocket. It is the radar. The ability to see a warhead coming and solve where it will be. And those radars run on a semiconductor called gallium nitride. Gallium is not rare. It is a byproduct, pulled out of the process that refines aluminium. Which means whoever refines the most aluminium controls the gallium. A single THAAD battery needs roughly 77 kilograms of it. And here is the number this whole story rests on. China produces between 98 and 99% of the world's primary gallium. Not most of it, effectively all of it. Which raises the obvious question, why not simply produce it somewhere else? Because gallium is not something you go and mine. It comes out of alumina refining in tiny fractions as a byproduct of making aluminum. You do not open a gallium mine. You build an aluminum industry, and then you wait. Chinese companies handle very nearly all the gallium extracted from bauxite. The United States and other advanced economies buy it from China and refine it further at home. That is not a supply line you can seize. It is 30 years of industrial policy. In December 2024, Beijing issued an export control document naming the United States directly. A presumption of denial. The default answer became no. Then, in October 2025, the two presidents met at the APEC summit. And that November, China suspended the ban. Suspended, not lifted, for 1 year. Which means it runs out this November. So the position the United States is in tonight is this. It needs 3 or more years to rebuild what it has spent, and it is running that rebuild on a permission slip with about 4 months left on it. The market already understands. Gallium outside China hit a record $1,850 a kilogram in April, up more than 200% since the start of last year. On the 20th of July, Lockheed Martin announced a cheaper Patriot interceptor. That is an industry saying out loud that the arithmetic does not work. And this is the part that outlives the war. For 30 years, air defense was treated as a solved problem. Expensive, but solved. This war has shown that it is a consumable. Something you spend. Something that runs out. And the side that can keep spending is not automatically the one with the better technology. It is the one that controls what the technology is made from. And you will feel the edge of this long before you ever read a stockpile figure. You can see the same logic in the Strait of Hormuz right now, where 10 ships crossed on the 23rd of July against a normal day of about 88. That is what a choke point does to a price, and eventually to yours. Leverage in this war is not who has the best weapon. It is who owns the thing the other side cannot make for itself. America can stop every missile Iran fires. The question this war is really asking is how many times and who sells it the parts. If you want the next one of these, subscribing is genuinely the thing that helps a channel this size. Thanks for watching.